It's Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Jump on in. Everybody jump on in. It must be 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend? Man, I had such an amazing weekend. Ask me why. Okay, I'll just tell you. My grandson turned 4, my oldest grandson. He turned 4 years old. So it was a really, really, really good weekend. Super Bowl. What Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, I watched, but I didn't. Admittedly, I'm not a football person, but it was totally fine, of course. And yeah, there were even some decent commercials. Not that I could remember them, but hi, good to see you. Anyway, I digress. So how are you doing today? Every day at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we jump on here and we talk about insulin resistance. And this is from like, I was going to say, it doesn't matter. This is literally how the Eagles won. I know. I heard that. I guess that's good. I feel like I've heard that that's really good. Woohoo. I don't know. I don't really, it's all good. But every day we talk about insulin resistance. And the reason why this is so important to me, that I do. Happy Monday, Terry. Good to see you. I was just talking to my husband about this like the other day, and I'm like, I literally get up and feel so compelled to talk about this because I was so indoctrinated to believe that this was genetic. First, I was like told nothing. That's number one. Then I was indoctrinated to believe it was genetic. And my dad, he was type 2 and he died at 63. And I talk about that a lot, but I'm not really sure why I didn't see my own flags of I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention. I used to say it a lot when I was in my 20s. I'd say, things don't dawn on me. Things don't dawn on me. And, I had to stop saying that. Number one, I had to change my words. I mean, this is like a lifelong, I just turned 60. Like anybody can learn this stuff. I didn't even start learning like how to deal with my sugars or trade out my foods or have personal growth until my 60s or until my 50s. Like, so everybody, you guys are all like hope, right? Hope is up. And, I just really felt like I just kind of was living life not paying attention. So if that's you, will you give yourself a freaking break today? It's okay. You can pay attention starting right now. But there was a moment in time where it probably should have like maybe dawned on me a little more than others. I don't know. My dad was on dialysis and he wasn't yet on dialysis. This was towards, the last few years of his life. And he was going to be heading into dialysis. And so they were looking for a kidney transplant for my dad. And I was living out in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I am in Minnesota. I've been in Minnesota all my life, with the exception of 8 years in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And I remember working with the University of Minnesota to see if I was a match to give my dad a kidney. And when they found out that it was right around the time that he had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, that I was born, they said, no, you cannot give him a kidney even though you are a match. And I kind of went, well, okay, and they basically were kind of like, because it's genetic. So I feel like that fed into the whole conversation of just always believing that it was genetic. And so whatever happened was going to happen. I'll deal with that later when it happens. And, last Friday, I talked to you guys about how somebody had messaged me and gave me pushback a little bit on, basically that's not responsible to say that this is reversible. And I said, well, listen, my sources are boom, 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 boom. This is the side of medical industry that I'm, paying attention to, because I kind of was done with that one, the other side. And now here we are, you guys. Like, I just had somebody text me the other day, and not the other day, it was about 2 weeks ago. And she said, they just put not diabetic in my chart. And she's only been doing like, my supplement recommendations and diet since July. So anyway, I'm super passionate about it. I feel like I'm very driven because I'm tired of people feeling like there's no hope or they don't know where to start because there's just so much noise. So every day at 11 a.m., we talk about insulin resistance. Today, what I want to do is I want to bring to you percentages inside of 5 different foods that we eat, how much sugar is in them. And there's that whole hidden sugar conversation. So I know you may know about the food or the condiment, but tell me if you knew the percentage of sugar that is actually in the condiment. You just let me know, okay? So here we go. Here we go. Because you know what? This is what I hear all the time. I eat really clean. I'm eating healthy. Like, I'm on it. Like, I don't understand why I can't budge 1 pound, why my sugars won't come down, why, my hormones are upside down, why I can't sleep at night, why I'm exhausted, all of the things. And, why I'm just craving carbs all the time. I'm hungry all the time. All of those are, by the way, insulin resistance symptoms, right? So this is how, and I'm like, well, that could mean a million things if you say you're eating clean or whatever. It could mean a lot, right? I personally, just so that you guys know where I'm coming from, when I teach from like a Maria Emmerich style of thought process. High protein, moderate, really good fat, and very, very, very low carb. So you can fix what got you into the pickle to begin with, okay? You can't out supplement bad food choices. That's not a good message to send people. It's not a helpful message. If I do not teach you how to fish, what have I done? I'm not looking for, people. If the medical industry is trying to get us to be on meds for the rest of our lives, then what does that say if that's my thought process too about turning back your insulin resistance? Like, no, that's not how this goes. Anyway, okay, so 5 foods that are hiding sugar and the ratio that is in it. Okay, are you guys ready for this? I'd like to know which one surprises you the most out of the 5. Number 1 is a barbecue sauce. I know we're not probably very confused that barbecue sauce is a lot of sugar and that we have to find a sugar alternatives. Come on in, you guys on TikTok. Come on in from the balcony and join in. But how much of barbecue sauce is usually sugar if it's a sugar-based barbecue sauce? 50% by weight. So when you think I'll just have a little bit, or, well, it is the 4th of July or whatever, 50% by weight. This one really shocks people. Half of the weight of barbecue sauce is sugar. That means that for every 2 tablespoons, and how easy is that to squirt on your plate? 1 is pure sugar. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's crazy pants. Manufacturers do this to balance the tangy, savory flavors, but don't worry, there are alternatives. So you can look for things like Primal Kitchen. That's a good brand. Always check ingredients, because I'm telling you, the companies are changing ingredients all the time. And so you just have to be careful, be mindful. Okay. So Primal Kitchen, or you can make it yourself with tomato paste, vinegar, and a natural sweetener. And by the way, if you use an allulose, has anybody ever used allulose? It's a plant-based sweetener. Studies are actually showing that it's decreasing blood sugars. Like, it's not just helping to keep from spiking, it's decreasing. That's amazing. Number 2, flavored yogurt. So, we've got this yogurt marketing conversation going all the time where we are like, we need to get the good cultures and we need to be, yogurt is like a weight loss hack and all this stuff. There are some specifics to that to make it a weight loss hack. Okay. So we are a yogurt loving culture, but flavored yogurts are basically dessert in disguise. Lucinda, oh, good to see you. Just got home from the health club. Well, don't you be sorry, girl. I mean, OMG, like, way to go. Good for you. No, that's awesome. You're totally fine. So 10 to 30% by weight is inside of yogurts. Thank you, Carol. I so appreciate you. Because especially when it's a low fat yogurt, what they're doing is they remove the fat and then they add sugar back to make up for lost flavor. They've been doing this to us for decades. You are right. Greek yogurt plain is the best. You are absolutely right. So for decades, I mean, come on, you guys, think about Snackwell cookies. Fat-free, fat-free. It's good for you. You can eat anything that's fat-free. We're just going to up the sugar. There was actually a battle between studies years and years ago during this time where we went fat-free that fat is bad, sugar is bad. Fat won out in the United States. The other guy was from Britain, and he was writing studies and papers on the fact that sugar was bad. Well, what did we do in the United States? We exploded with sugar, and we said, fat-free is best. And that's kind of a very short synopsis of what happened. But if you buy full fat, plain Greek yogurt and add your own flavors. I do this all the time and it is so good. So I personally love adding like caramel liquid stevia. You can buy that like on Amazon. You can get plain liquid stevia at Walmart. I don't think you can get caramel, but you can look at your own Walmart. And then I'll mix in like frozen organic blueberries. Amazing. Like you don't even have to buy. It's so easy to whip up. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is ketchup. Okay, barbecue sauce was 50% by weight sugar. What do you think ketchup is? Yes, for sure. This one makes so much sense. Have you ever given like a baby ketchup with French fries? Have you ever done that, right? And they lick, or a kid, a toddler, they lick the ketchup off of the French fry, right? Well, that makes perfect sense because it's really loaded with sugar. So 25% is sugar by weight in ketchup. You can always, again, I go back to Primal Kitchen. That's a decent brand usually for a lower sugar alternative, or you can make your own with tomato paste, vinegar, and spices. So you could probably just look that up. Number 4. Now remember, we entered a long time ago. Who remembers the old shaky pizzas or the Pizza Hut salad bars? There was a salad bar everywhere you went. There still may be. I guess maybe I haven't paid attention. But salad bars. I remember in college, you guys, I remember walking into like the commons area in college where, you could grab all of your food and you were on a meal plan. So you could whatever, choose what you wanted to eat, with your one punch for the day or whatever it was. And the salad bar was super extensive. And I remember just kind of looking over like all of the different things. Like I loved, the cottage cheese and the black olives and all of the sun seeds. And, they had everything laid out. And then they, of course, just like, in salad bars today, they have vats of different salad dressings. And of course, like, how much ranch can you eat? Or, in the summertime, it would be like the raspberry vinaigrette yumminess, right? Lots of sugar in that. Well, salad dressing can be 10 to 25% sugar by weight. 10 to 25%. That also does not include the fact that most, unless you make them yourself, you guys, most salad dressings that you're going to get at any restaurant or at any fast food or whatever in little packets, they're going to be based with seed oils. They're going to be canola, etc. And they're working against your insulin resistance. You need to know that it's not just, we're going to be granola people and we're going to make sure we're not eating seed oils. Listen, I was the least granola person you were ever going to meet. I mean, for real. Entered my 50s. Remember, you guys, I need to just figure out my device situation. Entered my 50s as a 2X, okay, Italian, complete sugar addict, raised my kids on everything white because I was raised on everything white, raised my kids with Crisco because I was raised with Crisco, okay? So I was not somebody who was going to pay attention to my food, switch out my ingredients, and like be mindful of healthy alternatives. That wasn't me. It is the reason why I started to supplement, because I was like, I'm pretty much not going to trade out my food, so I might as well try this. That was me. So for me to be like, seed oils, blah, blah, it's the connection to your insulin resistance. It's not because you woke up this morning and you thought, it is Monday in 2025, February. I'm going to become a granola person. I'm going to all of a sudden become health conscious. I had that on my New Year's resolutions, and so I'm going to be health conscious. No, if you can tie it to your understanding of how it is detrimentally impacting your insulin resistance, you will make a change much more easily because you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I mean, that's really it's working against it. So instead use olive oil, red wine vinegar. I actually was raised with a lot of olive oil and red wine vinegar. That's probably the one good thing that came out of my Italian household. For creamy dressings, try making your own homemade ranch with fresh herbs, Greek yogurt, immersion blender. Super easy to make. Recipes would be everywhere online. It would not be hard to find. Okay, the last one. Granola bars. Up to 40% sugar by weight. 40%. This is the biggest marketing lie ever. They basically rebranded candy. Are you guys tracking? And called it healthy. Granola bars spike blood sugar like crazy. They are loaded with grains and sugar. No wonder they are all no wonder, like kids, when we give them a granola bar, like, here you go, here's your fast snack at school or whatever, they're exhausted within a couple hours. Just spike, crash. So it's so easy, and I get it, right? I get it. Buying all of the little granola bars at, in the big honking boxes at Costco and having those on hand, to throw our kids, right? It can be super satisfying, both for them and for us as the mom, right? Just to throw them something. But you can actually, I think that granola bars is maybe, somebody had asked me over the weekend, like for the recipe for the keto granola on the blog, All Day I Dream About Food. Okay, write that down. All Day I Dream About Food. She has a blog and she has a recipe on there called Keto Granola Clusters. And in her picture, she has them kind of like chunked up and then with milk poured over them, like for granola, like in the morning. And you can do that too. But even if you just make the granola, you're basically mixing up good things like, I wish I could remember everything that was in there. Nuts and seeds primarily, and maybe some unsweetened coconut, something like that. And then you're using your own sweetener type of a sauce, whatever. And then you're putting it on parchment, flattening it out, putting in the oven, yada, yada. And then you're breaking up pieces. I had done that in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Inside of that group, I did that last June. So if you put in keto granola in the search bar in the group, you can find it. But my point being that then I would have it in baggies so I could travel with it and just a little bit. You can do the same thing with your kids, your grandkids. You can have just little granola where you're able to give them a snack, like, as you're like running around in the car or whatever, you're babysitting, because this is where my mind goes with my little boys. I have 3. One turned 4 yesterday. I'm very excited about that. So let's recap. Okay. Per weight. These are the foods, and this is how much of percentage of that food has sugar in it. Kristen, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. You and Carol are just so good to me. Thank you. Thank you for coming in here and loving on my TikTok. You know that means a lot. More strangers need to hear what we're talking about. Every day, we need more strangers to understand that there is hope and encouragement to actually switch around your insulin resistance. You can go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. Of course, it's my opinion. I am not a doctor, but you can look up other third-party resources all over the freaking place of doctors that will tell you don't have to take the path of the matrix. You don't have to do that. I have had people with my blueprint of targeted supplements and food trade outs. I have had people, they have gotten off of MET. They've gotten off of anti-anxiousness things. They've gotten off of STATINSs. They've gotten off of a recent one was a fibromyalgia med. Somebody else just got off of something. Her cardiologist just took her off of a med because her blood pressure is in control. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of a med. That might be it for meds. But that's a lot. That's a lot, right? And then 40 pounds gone in 8 months, 20 pounds gone in 5 months. Somebody's sugars dropped 30 points in the morning. Her morning sugar, she couldn't get them down for the life of her for 3 years, working with doctors, working with the matrix, trying to figure it out, could not get her morning sugars down and could not lose weight. Not 1 pound in 3 years. started the trio, and in 2.5 months, down 14 pounds because, see, this is the lens. Change the lens you're looking at things through, because her morning sugars came down 30 points. All right, here's our recap. 5 foods that are hiding sugar. Barbecue sauce comes in at number 1. 50% of barbecue sauce is sugar. 50%. That means that if you have 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, 1 tablespoon is pure sugar. Flavored yogurt comes in at 10 to 30% sugar per weight. That's a lot. Think about those little cups. That's a lot. There are other things that you can do. Number 3, ketchup, 25% sugar. Number 4, salad dressing, 10 to 25% sugar. Did I just say that? Ketchup, 25% sugar. Salad dressing, 10 to 25% sugar. It's Monday, okay? Granola bars, up to 40% sugar. So every single one of them, there is a different way that you can actually incorporate something really basic into your world. Think about how easy these trade outs are, okay? Because I teach trade outs in the group. And again, the group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. So I teach these trade outs because I want you to grasp, oh my gosh, I'm like, ask yourself, what if it wasn't as hard as I'm making it out to be? What if this is easier than I actually thought it was going to be? What if I actually could turn back around my insulin resistance, drop weight, and feel amazing? What if I actually could have more energy? What if I all of a sudden felt my inflammation fall away? And I was like, I woke up and I didn't ache. What if my brain fog got better? Like, I want you to understand, this is not rocket science. It's not. This is why I can talk about it every single day. This is either easy or it's not. And trust me, this is simple. I'm not saying it happens overnight. Don't misinterpret. I'm not saying it happens in a couple weeks. I'm not even saying that it'll happen in 5 months for you. What if it takes you a year? I don't know. Everybody's going to be different because everybody is going to have different factors that are going on in their body, from the level of scripts that you're taking to the level of over-the-counter meds that you're taking to the level of where your sugars are at, or how long you've been type 2, or like, right? So this is why, because I'm not a doctor, I don't walk that part of the journey with you when it comes to, like, you know, you are the ones that have gone out, you get your labs, you choose to be accountable to yourself. You get your labs, you come back and you tell me your labs and you're like, OMG, this is coming down. OMG, they took me off of this med. OMG, they said in the last year since my last physical, I didn't even realize that I had lost 22 pounds last year. OMG, fill in the blank, right? So what if you could have all of that happen? So just think about how simple this is, okay? Let me run this through one last time before we get off for the day, and think about how simple, because you need that in your heart. Okay, she's telling me this is simple. She's telling me this doesn't take a team of docs as though I had stage 4 or anything. I actually can become my own advocate, make a few changes, and get some results and tweak. Okay, so barbecue sauce, 50% sugar. You can either make your own or look for a brand like Primal Kitchen. Number 2, flavored yogurt, 10 to 30% sugar by weight. Easily, you can go buy Fage yogurt, F-A-G-E, unsweetened Greek yogurt. Get your protein up. Simple to add any kind of a liquid stevia and cinnamon and frozen organic berries. Number 3, ketchup, 25% sugar by weight. Same thing. You can either make your own, because it's actually easy if you have an immersion blender, or you can buy something like Primal Kitchen. Number 4, salad dressing, 10 to 25% sugar. Again, very easy to make your own or to buy brands. I mean, the brands out there now in 2025 are amazing. You don't have to get a brand that is sugar-free and filled with seed oils. You can get a brand that's actually decent ingredients, because our variety right now is off the charts. Or you can make your own. And the last one, granola bars, up to about 40% sugar. So the simplicity of making your own granola, it's as easy as grabbing, let's say, 5 ingredients. I think that recipe is 5 ingredients. Keto granola clusters on the website, All Day I Dream About Food. And basically it's something like this. You'd have to go look it up for the exact, but you're grabbing like pecans and maybe pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds, and unsweetened coconut. Maybe almond slices, something like that. And then you're making your own sweetener, kind of a syrup, sort of, and you're mixing it together. Okay. You're laying it out on parchment paper. You're putting it in your oven so that it kind of bakes and dries. And then you can spread chocolate on, break it up and put it into, it's really not hard. Seriously, not hard. And you could substitute out different ingredients. You could do that all with just, sun seeds and, pecans. Now, personally, I don't do a ton because I do try to keep my nuts at bay because nuts will stall your weight loss. That's another live for another day and another conversation. But everything has been super, super simplistic. Okay. So if you would like to get my protein guide, which is just a daily, like, how do you get in over 100 grams of protein a day? How do you get in, if you're shooting for your goal weight and protein every single day, that might feel very overwhelming to you because we just aren't taught like, oh, a chicken breast actually has like 42 grams of protein. Oh, well, I ate a chicken breast yesterday on a salad. Oh, I actually was doing okay. We don't know that. We don't know that an egg has 6 grams of protein oftentimes, or, whatever it is. But I have a free guide. It's super easy. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can always just drop the word protein guide and I can send that to you. On everybody else, you have to DM me. Just DM me wherever you are and say protein guide and we'll take it from there. And even on Facebook, you can just DM me in Messenger, protein guide, and I will get that to you so that you have at least something that you can look at, because you're supposed to be focusing more on protein and then getting rid of that sugar and you will begin to crave less sugar if you will focus on protein. You will maintain more muscle mass if you focus on protein. You will do all of these things. Valerie, I love you so much. I can't, excuse me, it'll be gone by the time I'm done with my live on Instagram. So you have to DM it to me. You have to DM me, get into my message box, into my inbox. TikTok and Instagram just poof. All of those comments disappear when I'm done. And so I apologize for that. I should have been more clear. But again, I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time right here on all of the socials. And we'll talk about insulin resistance. We'll talk about targeted supplementation. If you're looking for targeted supplementation to launch your body, the best thing to DM me would be to DM me Trio. Those are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. It's where I started. It's what fully supported me in losing 3 sizes in my 50s. I just turned 60 like a couple weeks ago. And it's where all the testimonies are coming from. So if you need to launch your body towards insulin sensitivity, Trio, Trio, in my inbox, wherever you are, and I will get you that information. But in the meantime, have such a good day, you guys. And if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. Share this out. If you know somebody that needs this information, they need to be encouraged. They need to be resourced. They need to hear that this is not a terminal diagnosis and that you can turn this around and you can actually then lose weight, get off scripts, feel better, have energy again. You don't have to keep going south like my dad did. And then he was gone at 63. You're welcome, Terry. The daily live sessions help you so much to stay motivated. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate you. I have to put that up on my screen. You know that. I appreciate that very, very much because, like I said at the very beginning of this, I was talking to my husband literally yesterday on our way out to see my grandbabies for his 4th birthday. And it was going to be party, Super Bowl, all that good stuff. On our way out there, I said, every day I just feel compelled to get up and tell people, listen, you're being given bad information and I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Because the day after that, my dad died, I will never forget. Actually, yes, it was the day after. I was at their house with my kids. We were staying there because we were home on vacation from the Black Hills of South Dakota. And I woke up and I came up into the kitchen where my mom was. old Rambler, like Rambler built like in the 1960s, where you had one bathroom, 3 bedrooms. That's how I was raised, in a suburb. And I came up into the kitchen, and that the line of sight was very much where my dad would sit at the end of his table, and he would have all of his meds lined up. And then on the kitchen counter was the Lazy Susan right there to the right of the stove. And that Lazy Susan was filled. He had so much, because by the time he was gone, he had already had heart surgeries and pacemaker, been on kidney dialysis, injecting insulin into his belly twice a day. And, as I kind of like stepped up into the kitchen, that's when my mom kind of burst into tears. And she was so upset at herself for having really given him a hard time about his medicine. I always said, John, why, you've got everything everywhere. It's so messy. Why do you do that? Why can't you like put things away? And whatever it was. And she was so upset by that. And of course I was like, Mom, it's okay. Like you didn't know. And, whatever I said, but that just stuck with me. Because in that moment, I feel like a little bit of my computer chip in my brain went and it filed itself into the back. Like a file was stored that moment. And it was opened up again a few years later, where I was like, wait a minute. He was on all these meds. If this is turn aroundable, if this is fixable, I don't get it. Like, weren't those meds supposed to fix him? And of course, now we know the answer. If you're doing any research on your own, if you're paying any attention, meds were never created to heal. They were never created to turn back. They were only created to manage. And they actually didn't do a very good job for him, right? So this is why I ended up taking a completely different route. I didn't want to go down that route. I didn't want the route of all of the fallout from the type 2 diabetes, but I also didn't want the route of the medicine. I didn't want that life of being tethered to medication, doctor's appointments, and side effects. So I took a route of supplementation, but I targeted it because I wasn't a person who took supplements. So I made sure that like everything I took made sense, because it's the only way I was going to stay on track. That's the trio. Those are the 3 supplements that I talk about all the time. So DM me Trio if you want that information. DM me Protein Guide if you want that information. And if you're in one of my inboxes, I'll be able to actually see it and respond to it and get you what you need. Okay? So have a super blessed day, you guys. And I will chat with you tomorrow. Good to see you.